Hi, it's Pastor Ryan. Just want to bring you a quick thought out of John chapter 1 and verse 14. It goes like this. It says, "The Word became flesh and made his dwelling among us. We have seen his glory, the glory of the one and only, who came from the Father, full of grace and truth." Jesus, that's how he was known. He was known as a man who was full of grace and truth. I find it interesting that when he started to speak, people said, "Who is this man?" He speaks as one who has authority. And I really believe that his authority came from this truth, that he was full of grace and he was full of truth. He didn't just have a little bit of both, he had all of both. And I believe that's an example that he sets for us, that we are to endeavor to live as people of truth and people of grace, and letting his grace and his truth fill our lives. We find it all throughout the scripture that Paul tells us, speak the truth in love. We see an example even again in Revelation 3:19 where Jesus says, "I love you, therefore I rebuke you." In other words, I love you, that's grace, but I love you enough to tell you the truth. That's a great combination right there. That's how Jesus wants us to interact with our world. He never wants us to compromise the truth, but he never wants us to compromise his grace. And so today, I just leave you with that thought. I am asking myself this question all the time. Am I full of grace? And am I full of truth? That's really important because those are the rails of the train. Someone might say, "Well, Ryan, which is more important, grace or truth?" We're like that, right? We always something has to be more important than the other. And when you ask me the question, which is more important, grace or truth? I say, hey, when you're getting on an airplane, which is more important? The left wing or the right wing? They're both necessary. You don't want to get on a plane that only has one wing. You got to have two. Grace and truth are the wings that cause us to fly as followers of Jesus. I pray today that you would take this word, that God would take it deep in your heart, that it would make an impact on you and on me, that we would be reminded today to walk full of grace and full of truth, just like Jesus. Thanks for joining us today on our Daily Hope Devotional.